All right, folks, welcome back to Kings of Opinion, episode 69.
69.
Here we go. And let's fucking go, as Wolverine would keep saying through Deadpool and Wolverine. But, you know, we discussed that already, so I'm not going to go there. Even though I got the nice little shirt going on. I started buying these shirts already.
Oh, really?
I can't help myself with these shirts. You know what I mean? I can't help myself. The Chive does a great job of putting out shirts. I could have bought them all. Unbelievable. But anyway.
Who puts them out?
The Chive, you ever hear of it? The website?
No.
They're huge. They started out in, I want you to say,
Boy, a long time.
yeah, in Texas or California, but they got like a bunch of, they basically started out as like a funny website. And they would just post pictures and this and that of people doing either silly stuff or silly stuff happening to them. And then they branched out from there with t-shirts and branding. Bill Murray got behind them. They make Bill Murray like gold coins. Remember that coin I got you? That was copper. They make gold, silver, copper. And now they do it for anyone. They do it for Chris Farley. They do it for Super Troopers. They're huge. If you look at their website, you'll see they got pictures of girls sending their pictures in, like bathing suits and this and that, and doing all funny different things. It's a good website, but that's where I get these shirts from, because I don't know how they do it with the licensing, but they just get the licensing to make these shirts, and then they make like just shirts like this, like quotes from the movie, and I make a picture. Or the other one I got, which was one of the best too, is Deadpool's holding up Wolverine like Dirty Dancing, and it says like "Love to Dance" or something like that, something like that. But they're great shirts, you know. But whatever, getting off on a tangent. I wanted to talk about real quick, like the NFL is knocking on the door right now.
Yeah.
Like we're almost through August.
Couple weeks.
We got a couple weeks to go, and as I was talking about earlier, fantasy football is pretty much in full swing. I think every 5 minutes I get a notification from either ESPN or Yahoo about all these different players I got to look out for. And
Yeah.
I know you're going to talk about this in a second, but I'm going to ask anyway. I'm like, how annoying has it gotten? Like all these experts, like. I haven't even done fantasy football that long. Ernie, I'm sure you've done it even longer than the both of us. I've only been doing it like 12, I think this might be my 13th year. And there's got to be more coverage on this than ever nowadays, right?
It's crazy. I feel like ESPN alone, like for at least the past couple of days, every time you go into the channels, they got some kind of program on with rankings and telling you who
I
to
haven't looked at any
strategy and everything.
So it's funny you say that, because I was at work today and I got in a little bit late because I had to go to PT for my arm, right? And the first thing I put on is ESPN, and it's normally the show Get Up.
Yeah.
But it wasn't that. It was a fantasy football thing. And like they're rating these guys and telling you who's hurt. And I'm like, the only thing I really want to hear is who's hurt and who's missing time. Because all these projections are almost borderline nonsense.
I know.
Especially when you say the sleeper or the diamond in the rough guy.
Yeah.
Like, how do you know that? And then if I go on your word, like I try to do every year, and get the guy and he's a complete bum, I get so agitated. You know?
Yeah, it's incredible how mainstream it is now. It's like its own sport.
Yeah. I'm at the point now where I'm literally going to throw a dart at the dartboard, and whoever's name I hit, I'm just going to pick up. Because unless you get some of the, like you fall in line, you have a good pick where you keep getting a guy that you know that's always going to be productive. By the time you get to round 7 and 8, that's all you're doing is just guessing and hoping that this guy will be the next, Saquon Barkley or.
And these guys are all like, I won 5 out of 12 leagues last year, buy my thing. Yeah, okay. I mean, if I'm in 12 leagues, I might have a chance I win the 5 of them too.
Right, and literally that's all they get paid to do, and then go on TV and say, Nico Collins is going to still be good this year, even though they got Stephon Diggs. And normally takes a little while to get used to the offensive schemes, and you can't count on Joe Mixon either, because he's got a chance of a 26% drop, because when a running back goes to a new team, that's what normally happens. And I'm like, what? Like, without you knowing what the coaches are thinking, and they don't do, because they go week to week basis normally anyway, you're not going to know who's going to really be good or not, And then the breakout rookies, Xavier Worthy, he's on Kansas City. You know, he was one of the best guys in college. Yeah, of course he was. And he's probably going to be even better now because guess who's throwing him the ball? Good old Patrick Mahomes with the behind-the-back passes. And did you see that, by the way?
Yeah.
How crazy was that?
Yeah, I think they do it in practice a bit, but
Oh, they definitely practice that play.
that was
Yeah.
you know, a new wrinkle, I guess.
Yeah, like that's like almost what he was doing the last few years where the running back or someone would come across as the line would open up and he would just shovel past you the ball.
Yeah.
Like that was a design play too. They just don't want to tell you that. They want to make it seem like that's a one-time thing, especially in the preseason when they're messing around with it, because that's when they're really going to practice it in game time to see if it works
Right.
against the the first squads. But
How's that called a strike? Geez.
that it's amazing.
Yeah, it's nuts. I don't know.
And you're lucky. At least you don't research. Like I just started researching this fantasy football stuff like over the weekend and this week because I know my draft is next week, and it's like it's almost like you got to follow one guy and trust that one guy, or don't trust anyone and just like take a little bit and just remember these names if they're there. And if you don't really need certain positions, you just grab what you know, extra guys just in case they do pop off big, so you have extra options. You know. Because I've been pretty much out of it this summer. Like, I'm all into the fantasy football, but I think I'm just going to wing it this year.
Yeah.
Like, and see what happens. If I win, I win. If not, who cares? Part of it is just having fun with it. This is probably one of the reasons why you stop doing it. You get too entrenched in it.
Yeah.
And, like, it consumes you on a weekly-to-week basis.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, my least favorite, towards the end, my least favorite part would be whatever was it, Tuesday or whatever, you got to put all the claims in, and Sunday morning. For years, I would always be second guessing myself, up until game time. The draft was always my favorite part, but I don't really miss anything else.
Yeah, I mean now compared to years ago, it's so easy,
Right. Less.
Imagine years ago when I started and we were doing everything on paper.
Yeah.
And buying books, right?
Yeah, buying magazines and having to get the paper every day.
Probably listen to the radio too, right?
Yeah, but I mean, we did. I probably still have in my attic envelopes that I used to get mailed to my house
With the stats.
with the stats for like baseball leagues and football leagues.
Yeah.
That everything was done on paper, and you had to call the guy to make your moves. You had to.
Call which guy? Like your commissioner?
Commissioner,
Oh, because
yeah.
you only have one computer basically, if that. Or no, you were just running down.
Have
Nope.
computers.
Oh, that's right. That's right.
It was
That's
all done by hand.
so the commissioner would actually like write everything out with the points and everything.
Yes.
Oh, being the commissioner must have sucked back then.
Yes.
Oh.
Yes.
So you
And that's for football. Football is not bad. I have from baseball leagues from many years ago where the envelope that the guy had to send was like this thick because it was 20 teams in the league and it was just sheet after sheet after sheet with the stats and everything. It was crazy.
and how did you tally up all the points at that? Was it at the end of every week or just at the end of
by
the?
hand. By
Wow.
hand. And he would do it every week.
So he'd have to go through all the scores for every day,
Yes,
and
yes,
whatever you guys
yes.
were scoring, and jot it down, and then add it all up.
I'm
That must
telling
have
you,
been
man.
crazy.
Baseball is the oldest, right? Fantasy.
Yeah.
I think it used to just be called rotisserie.
rotisserie. Yeah.
Why'd they call it that?
I actually, if you look it up, there's a very good documentary about that. How the guys, it was, I think, if I remember right, 3 guys that started rotisserie baseball, and it blew up to the point where then they didn't take it to the next step, and then somebody else came in, and then that's when they turned into fantasy because they owned the rights to the word rotisserie. They turned it into fantasy, and then it just blew up, and these guys lost everything.
Wow.
So they were making money off rotisserie?
Well, I mean, it was the fact that these guys took it over, blew it up, turned it into fantasy, and then it just went bananas. But these 3 guys who actually started the whole concept, got left in the dust.
That's crazy. What's this documentary on?
I saw it years ago. I don't even remember. But
Is it's called rotisserie?
I don't remember. I could try to look it up, but it was very good.
That's wild. I actually want to see that documentary. But anyway, so I got the fantasy nonsense out of the way. I am super excited to go down to Jersey and hang out with all the boys and have a lot of fun. Because, like you said, the draft and even the I like to call it, which I think my commissioner started. I don't know if it started somewhere else, but I'm going to give him the credit. The fantasy draft combine special. That's also one of my favorite days.
What's that?
Well, you really don't do much fantasy-wise. You just go to somebody's house, have a barbecue, drink, and do a combine, like almost like an NFL combine, but for fantasy purposes.
Is this where you were doing the obstacles?
Yeah, basically.
Yeah,
but we call it the combine. But it's and everyone's house, it's a little different of a combine because it depends what you're working with at that person's
Is there a
house.
pool?
So far, there's been pools. Yes, the two houses we did it at were pools.
Yeah.
We only
It's actually a 30 for 30 on ESPN. It's called Silly Little Game.
silly little game 30 for
Yeah.
30. Oh, so we could probably look that up on the regular TV.
Yeah.
Right now, or at least on ESPN, the ESPN app. But yeah, so that's one of my good times because you really only talk about fantasy football for about an hour, like whatever rules you might want to change or instill new rules, and then you do the combine to pick your draft position, and then that's it. But it's a good fun day, and then the draft day is always a good time too. Obviously, you get excited for the football season. You draft your either really good or really pathetic team, and then, like you said, everything after that is just managing it, and it's misery. Usually.
It's quite the event. The league that you're part of.
Yeah, I made that rule for that event, so it was good to go wherever. Like I'm hoping one year, I would assume maybe it's like 10 years down the road, where if we still have this league, that eventually the guys will be able to just go somewhere really far for a draft, because then it'll be all worth it.
Right.
But we'll see. Only time will tell. But yeah, big baseball this week in New York City. I don't know if anyone's been paying attention. The Baltimore Orioles came into town, are playing the Mets. They already lost last night
Yes, I did see that.
on a Alvarez game-winning home run, his first of his career, and he hasn't been hitting well.
No.
But he got the big hit last night.
Right.
How'd you guys feel about that as a Mets fan?
Yeah, I didn't see it till today. But what was I gonna say? You know, I was watching a little bit when they were up. I think it was 3-1. Peterson seemed to be pitching well. I guess the bullpen blew it. I don't know. I'm not sure. But again, you know, I did see the final result, and yeah, you know, if his bat could come alive, that would be pretty good because you know, they're overachieving. You know, they're not a great team, but they've been very good at, you know, certain parts. So hopefully they can, you know, turn it on again and make another push for the wild card.
See, the Mets' problem is what is keeping them from being a great team. They play good teams really well, and probably, I don't know what their record would be, but I would assume, since they're a couple games above 500, that they got to be around 500 against good teams.
Right.
It's their play against the crappy teams that is killing them right now.
Isn't it been the same for the Yankees pretty much?
That's not been the exact opposite for the Yankees.
Oh, really?
Yeah, so the Yankee in the we'll go first half, because second half they've been pretty much 500, especially after the All-Star break. They're a couple games above 500, and I'll talk about them over the weekend with Detroit because that's what they're falling into now a little bit. But in the first half of the year, the Yankees were beating the balls off of all the bad teams, and then they were competing well against the good teams. Everyone forgets the Yankees were the first to 50 wins.
Yeah.
So, like, that's no easy feat, right? And here we are, and they're got 73 wins, right?
They
So
still have the most wins, don't they?
they're tied, and there's a 5-game tie. It's kind of weird, actually. I can't remember the last time I've seen, like, I think it's 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah, 5 teams with 73 wins.
Wow.
They're all separated by losses, actually. So Phillies have a half-game lead with 72, and then the rest, 3 more teams. I think it's the Yankees, Orioles, and Cleveland have 52 losses, and then I think the Dodgers have 54 or something like that. But that's what the Mets' problem right now is basically they gotta beat up on the bad teams. They didn't do it last year. They're not doing it right now. If they were, like even losing over the weekend to the one game to the Marlins, they should have won that game.
Yeah, right.
Both them and the Yankees lost by the same score.
I didn't get to see any of it though because it was on the Roku channel.
Yeah, I know. Another stupid freaking thing. But moving forward, like on Sunday, and that's another thing too. Sunday the Yankees played at Williamsburg against the Detroit Lions, and I know there's Tigers. Sorry, we're already getting into football, but I think this has only been 2 years, right? That they've been going to these weird places to play. And the Yankees are 0-2. They lost at one of the most iconic baseball fields on this planet in Iowa, right? The Field of Dreams game. Even though that was a fantastic game, don't get me wrong. But for them to come all the way back and then lose is just as upsetting. I don't forget a game like that because that was the first game that they had of these series, and they lost, right? And same thing here with Detroit. It was another, back and forth kind of game, and the pitchers pitched great in that game. It was 1-0 all the way till
they couldn't get any hits.
Yeah, neither team. And then all of a sudden, here comes good old Clay Holmes,
Freaking Clay Holmes, oh
and he blows another save,
my. Unbelievable.
driving me nuts. At this point, I can't even defend him. I was defending him earlier in the year, and by earlier I mean like let's say a month ago. But at what point do you say, hey guys, one of you other guys is going to be a closer now? Clay, you're going to go to the 7th inning. If you start doing good, we'll put you in the 8th inning. Like, they've done that before. And not just the Yankees. Other teams have done that. The Mets are doing it right now with Edwin Diaz. I think he was pitching in the 8th last I checked. And I think it was yesterday's game. I think he pitched the 8th, got out of it 1, 2, 3, and then they won it in the 9th. But there's got to be someone else you can put into that role. Like, you got Tommy Kahnle. Throw him in there. He's been pitching well. Or go with the hot hand. If someone's pitching good for the week, okay, you're the closer, champ. Because I'm telling you right
now. Have to do that now.
I'm telling you right now, I'll lose my shit if we go into the playoffs and they bring that guy in to save the game with everything on the line. Like, you're not just talking about losing a game. And, like, if you look at the standings, every game is going to count moving forward. And it has counted, up until a couple weeks. Everyone's close right now. You still got Boston's only, all right, there's 7.5 games back, but they're in the wild card hunt. You got the Royals and the Twins in the wild. The Royals and the Twins have the exact same record at 70 and 55.
That's crazy.
Okay? And that's the Central, and like, normally we take them for granted, but they have 3 teams that have 70 wins or more. The Guardians only have a 2.5 game lead over the West. And they're coming in, and within another hour and a half, they'll be playing the Yankees at home. So, like, the Mets took care of business against the Orioles last night. I hope they take care of business the next 2 days. I'm rooting for them. Same thing with the Yankees. The Guardians are no schlub. They're only a half a game behind the Yankees.
Yeah, they're good.
They're
They're good
great
teams.
season.
Yeah, and they're overachieving.
They're playing in Cleveland, you said?
No, they're in New York.
Oh, in New York.
Yeah.
They got decent starting pitching.
Mm-hmm.
They
But-
always have a decent team.
They do, but in years past, it's almost like Terry Francona got them to play up a little bit more. Like they weren't quite there. Now it looks like whatever's going on over there, they're doing good. They've been like this all year. They haven't relinquished the Central yet. So this is a tough 3-game series for the Yankees and also the Mets, right? Like, things got to start get going. Like, I don't want to see the Yankees have a 1-run lead tonight.
Who's supposed to be coming back for the Yankees in the pitching staff?
Clark Schmidt.
What's going on with that?
He's still rehabbing. They're saying, all right, they're being very vague about it, right? So they're saying he's rehabbing, he's been rehabbing, but they haven't given us a timeline when he's coming back. I don't know, like, if it's September or what's happening. Like, they're not saying.
So maybe we could at least move one of the starters into the closer position. This is like nuts, man. You can't. It's like every time this guy comes out now, you feel like he's gonna blow the game.
Yeah, and he mostly does. And the problem with it is you're right. Like, if Clark Schmidt comes back, you also got to hope, like, he gets right up and going right away.
That's the other
Like,
problem, right?
you can't start him and you don't think he's gonna just go
Right.
6-7 innings already, right?
No.
So his start is probably gonna be 4, 5.
That's the problem.
You know, so you got to get him in there because you got to get him playoff ready at some point, right?
I haven't been watching Tom, but did I hear is the Martian back?
He was back for one game. It was that game, the Little League World Series game.
Okay.
But for whatever reason, they were allowed to bring an extra guy for that game, and he was the guy.
Oh,
So-
so he went back down?
Yeah, well, he played like shit too. Like the game was on the line, and the guy rounding third was going home. Was a game-winning run, and he's looking to throw the guy out at second from the guy going from first to second. I'm like, you gotta throw that ball home. It's the losing run. You know, I know it looked like he was double clutching, like he didn't know, like he was thinking he was gonna go to second.
Yeah, I did hear that on the radio. I heard that on the radio. They double clutched
And I was watching him. He didn't look special at the plate. You know what I mean? So it's like he's gonna need some time. And like I said, I don't think he's coming back up till September, which I mean is not much further away. We got like 10 days or so,
Yeah.
and they'll bring him up. But the Yankees, like I'm hoping that they get their crap together in time for the playoffs. Like this almost reminds me of was it the '99 season or the 2000 season where they were very sluggish going into September, and they even were sluggish at the beginning of September, but then all of a sudden they started winning towards the end of September, and then they got super hot, and they just won the World Series.
99.
99. Okay, so I'm kind of hoping it's something like that, and you just weather the storm and maybe hopefully just win the division. I don't even care if it's by one game,
Right.
but like you win enough games just to stay past the Baltimore Orioles, and we're seeing like bad base running, bad hitting, bad fielding, bad pitching. Hopefully they can get it together in time for the playoffs. That's what I'm hoping. My dad's hating on the Yankees right now. He's like, they look like crap. He watches every game. I don't blame him, but it's not great, you know?
I mean, but that's kind of what's crazy too. That is as up and down as they've been at times, they're still
One of the best teams in baseball.
tied for the best record in baseball.
Yeah, 100%. And what's even weird about that is it doesn't look like they're going to go anywhere either. And they have so many different holes in their lineup right now. You know, like Volpe is hitting 109 in his last like 2 or 3 weeks.
I just saw that our boy Gio Urshela signed with the Braves.
Did he really?
Yeah, because I guess their third baseman got injured.
Yeah. Austin Riley, is
Yeah.
it? Yeah, he did. I didn't know he signed with them. And it was funny that you said that too. I heard he was just DFA'd the other day. So I'm like, why wouldn't the Yankees just go and scoop him up real quick? He'd be perfect for third base, at the very least until Jazz comes back. Even though they're saying that's the good news too, is Jazz doesn't have a real serious injury. He'll be back after during the 10-day IL stint. He'll be back,
Okay.
so that's good. So we should have him by maybe next week, like next Monday, I would think.
Yeah, because I think he definitely has a spark, you know.
Of course he did. They were playing really good baseball, and guys were hitting. And you know what he does more than anything? That guy can play so many positions. If you guys slump, and that's almost anybody in the infield and everyone in the outfield, not named Soto and Judge, you could sit and he could play your position.
Yeah.
Especially if he's hitting home runs at Yankee Stadium or on the road, because that's what he's been doing.
Yeah.
It was a shame he got hurt, you know?
Oh, it was. Definitely was.
Like the production, it was, you know, listen,
But we got to get this back into the bullpen situation.
yeah, I don't, and you know what the funny thing is?
Even Leiter hasn't been looking so good either.
No, he's got a inflated ERA since joining the Yankees. I mean, I know it's only like one or two bad like games that he's had. That's probably like 2 or 3, but he gives up runs in bunches, which is always a problem. You don't want that from a reliever. You know, you don't want them to give up anything. Oh, that's good news. Jamar Gibbs to be ready for Week 1,
Yeah, so that.
and Sam Laporta also be ready Week 1.
Your boy Laporta.
Yep, I love that guy. I hope I can get him on one of my teams this year, like I did last year. That was actually one of my like sleeper picks, but I didn't get it from nobody. I just did it myself. I'm like, oh, this guy, he looks all right. Detroit's always throwing the ball, scoring or whatever. Like,
I like the last name. Sounds kind of Italian.
Right, yeah, you know, like I like the colors of the uniform. Like, you know, this guy could be my backup to Mark Andrews, and then wind up having both 2 stud tight ends on my team, where I was like putting them in the what's the
Flex.
the flex spot. Yeah, you know, I still didn't help me in the league though. Unfortunately, struggled most of the year. I was going against monster teams, or not even monster teams.
Monster
Weeks.
scores, right?
Yeah, monster weeks where teams would score like 200 points.
Their best game.
Yeah, have their best game of the year. And it was always a different team. It wasn't the same team ever. It's always a different. I was always getting picked on. But whatever. Anyway, it's neither here nor there. Did you guys hear about this this Saints kicker?
No.
No? Did you?
No.
So apparently, the Saints signed a kicker during the offseason. And you would think, no big deal. It's a kicker. Who cares, right? I didn't think anything of it either. But then I read into his story. So the guy's Charlie Smith, right? And he's the first Irish player to make it into the NFL through I guess what they do now is almost like what baseball does. They have an international player pathway.
Oh, okay.
Like I don't know if that's new or like the last couple of years or whatever. Like they followed suit with the baseball, the MLB with how they have the international signing bonus
Right,
money and you could
right.
sign guys, whatever.
Right.
So this guy, Charlie Smith, reaches out to the NFL, like through emails or whatever, and says he wants to try out. So he goes through this portal, and listen, I don't have all the specifics, but
Right.
he goes through this international player pathway, and they give him an invitation to the combine this year as a kicker. So he never played football, ever. He's a soccer player in Ireland, and I guess part of whatever league they have there or whatever. He comes over here. I guess he was practicing in Ireland, kicking the football, whatever. Once, like he did this because he did this last year. So like I guess while they were playing football, he did it, and then they brought him to the combine, and he started kicking the hell out of the ball, and then the Saints signed him to a free agent deal, and I guess it wasn't this game, but the first preseason game, he kicks the winning field goal with seconds left in the game for the Saints to win their first preseason game.
Wow.
Isn't that amazing?
So it's like the story of the cowboy kicker from last year.
Basically, did he go through the pathway too, or they just
No, he was the one that was a soccer player, and he was drafted by one of the MLS teams, and then just I think played 1 year in the CFL as a kicker, and then signed with the Cowboys, and he had the most points in the NFL last year, and he I think was 12 for 12 for field goals over 50 yards. And just the other day in the preseason game, kicked a 66-yard field goal.
I saw that. That was insane. That's the longest kick too, right? Or tied? At least tied. Right. Man, another yard, and he had plenty of distance. He could have won another yard or two.
Yeah.
You know?
And they said earlier in the game, what's his name? What the hell's the coach's name? Oh my God.
McCarthy?
McCarthy was contemplating letting him kick a 72-yarder.
Wow. That would have been insane. Too bad maybe in a real game he would do that, not a preseason game. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, I thought that was a very interesting story. That's kind of cool too, right? To be
Yeah,
a soccer
of
player
course.
1 minute and then just now you're
Makes sense. Soccer players are going to make decent kickers.
right. At the very least, right? They kick that soccer ball like almost the whole distance of the soccer field, right? So it's not much different than a football. Football might be a little heavier, but to kick a 50-yard field goal might need no problem. And you know what? He's the first Irish player to make the NFL through that way. Maybe there'll be more.
Used to pressure too.
Yeah, and maybe there'll be more guys like that that go transition from soccer to football.
I'm sure there will be.
Yeah.
The only thing is there's only so many kickers in football, right?
Correct.
I actually think there's this guy Harry Kane. He plays for Tottenham, I think. He's probably one of the top players in the Premier League. I think he said that when he's done playing soccer, that's what he's going to do.
Yeah, because I guess
Really?
Yeah.
He said that?
Yeah.
Yeah, he's one of the big names.
And I guess you're still kind of young when you retire from soccer, right? So to make a little extra money, you convert yourself to an NFL kicker. If anyone gives you a chance and you make some decent money.
Well, I think guys in soccer can play it's like any other sport. You got guys that play into their 40s.
I just thought because of all the running, it was a younger man's game where like,
Oh, it's definitely a younger man's game like everything else. But I mean, this guy's that.
but he wouldn't be a kicker at 40, would he, in the NFL? By then he's made all his money, and plus, I don't know
he's
for
playing
sure.
in the top,
Oh,
top
this
league
guy,
there
trust me,
is.
this guy is making.
That's what I'm saying.
Boku money
Like,
already.
if Ted Lasso taught us anything, the soccer players in Europe, they make really good money.
Yeah, this guy makes
Even more than that. He's like, you know.
exceptional money.
Yeah. He's probably like another one of those Messi or Ronaldos, and
Oh, he's on that level.
Yeah, exactly.
He's that
Right.
that big of a player.
right. So like, he don't need to, play in the NFL and make extra money. He could probably just make extra money, make
I think he just wanted to do it.
a commercial or something. Oh, maybe that makes more sense. He just wants to add something to his
He's the one that
resume.
plays for England,
Yeah.
correct? Yeah, he's already old. See how old he is.
Yeah. How old is he? We got a good game going on over here. Cuba versus Mexico in the Little League World Series. So yeah, I think I took care of that. Yeah, what else you got? You got any stuff you've been watching? I know I've been watching a few things. I've been trying to really hone in on a bunch of different shows.
Yeah, I finished Umbrella Academy. That was really good.
Yeah?
Like Ernie said.
Oh, you watched it?
Yeah.
What'd you think?
I enjoyed it. I thought it was really good, and like it's what 6 episodes, but it's action packed. Like
Yeah?
from when it starts, it just keeps going. There's no lulls.
That's what I like to hear. I like that stuff.
Like I think you asked him that last week, and he wasn't kidding because it's there's a lot going on, and it's the final season, so I thought it was they ended it well. It was a good send off.
Nice.
So yeah, I enjoyed that. I'm trying to think what else. I watched Furiosa over the weekend.
What's that on HBO?
Yeah, Max.
Oh, okay. Well, how was that?
It was good.
Oh.
I still like Fury Road better, but it had some cool chases, and it was good. I liked it. And then did I watch something else? Oh yeah, and then I watched the first episode of this show on Apple with Vince Vaughn.
Bad Monkey?
Yeah.
Oh, what'd you think of that?
It's good.
Good,
Yeah,
man.
I'm looking forward to
Good.
it. I only watched the first one, but I'm sold already.
Really?
Yeah, I don't
What's
know,
it about?
Something about him. He's just.
He's like I guess like a cop or ex-cop, whatever. And,
he's a suspended cop.
Right. And he gets sent on this task, and then things kind of just develop from there. But
So
it's just him being a wise ass, which is like the best.
Right,
The best,
and him playing
him
kind of
in
like
his
a
wheelhouse.
private investigator type thing.
Right.
But it just it looks like it's going to be really good.
Yeah.
Oh, what do they only put up one episode a week?
I know there's two at
There's
least.
2 episodes
Yeah.
up.
'Cause
Did you watch both?
I only
I
watched,
watched
the first.
both.
Okay.
Very good.
Okay.
And I also finally just started watching only a couple episodes in Dexter,
Oh wow.
which everybody talks about as like one of the greatest shows ever. And listen, I like it.
Yeah.
I'm enjoying it. I
Yeah.
like him. I think he was great in 6 Feet Under. I
Right. He's a
really
good
love
actor,
that
yeah.
show. But I gotta tell you, for as much as everybody talks about it as like the greatest show ever, the acting in that show is kind of like
I agree.
cheesy.
To
man.
be honest with you, I never finished it. I loved the first couple of seasons, but then like I forget. I think it might have been the third, somewhere in the third. Like I lost interest.
Yeah.
But a lot of people
Think
have
it's
you
like
seen
the
it?
greatest show
Yeah.
ever.
A lot of people
One
love
of the
it.
greatest show ever.
Yeah,
So,
I love it.
I
There
mean,
you go.
I'm
Yeah.
liking it so
I was
far.
waiting you guys to start
And
talking.
I like the
Stop
idea
bitching.
of the show.
I'm getting
I
upset.
mean,
I'm gonna cry.
it's unbelievable how every day there's these crazy murders going on in Miami. But needless to say, it's good. I like the idea of it, but
Yeah. The first
some of the acting is.
What part are you on in your first season so far?
Yeah, like I think I'm on episode 3.
Oh, okay. So here's the thing, right? So I started off thinking that as well. You got to throw some of the acting out of the window. Like certain people, like who do you not like their acting? Everybody for the most part.
His sister is
Yeah,
not a good
sister's
actor.
terrible.
The,
Like Dexter's not bad because you got to remember.
no, he's good.
Oh, you think he's good? Okay.
Yeah.
The first season is really good though.
Yeah. But it's one of those shows that it
takes a
builds
few episodes.
and it takes
That's
like
what I'm
4 or
hoping.
5 episodes.
But like the captain, La Guerda, she's like awful. I mean, she's like awful. And then I'm
She's
not
like a
crazy.
lifetime.
I'm not crazy about. I forget his name. It starts with a D. The black guy. That's.
Oh, the Black Cop too?
Yeah.
Yeah, he's another awful. That guy I think was Ray Don in wasn't it Ray Don in Blue Mountain State? Or am I getting them
Yeah,
confused?
no, I don't think so.
Hold on, let me check.
At least I don't remember that. But and La Guerda too. She's from something that I've seen too before. I can't remember.
Yeah, but she's terrible.
But yeah, and his sister.
His sister's the worst one out of all 3, if you ask me.
I think his sister, didn't they have like a relationship and something happened with that?
And,
Oh, really? In real life?
Yeah.
yeah, well they were dating.
And
Oh, no kidding.
And then something that wasn't there, like something happened with the show or something. I forget. It feels like a lifetime ago watching that.
Well, I mean,
Oh no, Eric King, that guy,
Season-
right?
season 1 was
Yeah.
2006.
Yeah.
It's almost
It
20
was a
years
lifetime.
ago.
And then you got a long way to go because there's 8 seasons.
Yeah, I don't know.
I don't know if you're gonna get through it, but and there's even another one because this only goes till 2013, season 8. There was a Dexter Reborn or something like that or whatever. It was 1 season because I don't want to ruin the ending, but how it ended, they switched it up and then whatever. They tried to bring it back and it only lasted 1 season. Like I wouldn't watch that season, even though it might have been better than some of these other seasons. But to me, as an 8-season show, it was a very good show. But you have to keep 2 things in mind. 1, throw the acting out the window for the most part. You're really there for the writing. And 2, when you're thinking about the writing, you got to understand the premise of the show, which is like this guy is a serial killer working for the police department,
Right.
Which is off the walls banana as it is, and how he navigates through everything. Because how they make you, and don't get me wrong, some things are silly, you gotta just be like, oh, whatever. Like, after a while it gets a little silly, like, oh, how does he keep getting away with that or this or whatever?
Right.
But, like, sometimes how he gets away with stuff is so out there, you're like, not that it makes sense, but like, oh, he's a serial killer at heart, you know what I mean? And they explain it throughout the show, which
And I was caught by surprise because I wasn't expecting that he was a serial killer, but the whole premise about he only, obviously kills bad people,
Right,
and
and-
who deserve it.
and they go more into that as the seasons goes on with his dad that passed away or whatever, and all that good stuff, and it starts to like make you think about, oh, it's not too bad of an idea. Like he's actually doing a service. He's like borderline a Punisher.
Yeah.
Just instead of like punishing with guns, he's jigging people and tying them up and throwing them in the ocean. You know what I mean? Like, but it was a different type of show, and it at least kept me interested for a long time because I didn't start watching it right from jump either. Someone told me about it, and then I binge watched like 7 seasons or 6, 7 of them, and then like the 2 seasons came out, and then I watched them week to week, and then that was that. But it was it's a good show. I can't believe you started that. You got a good like almost 100 episodes to watch.
It just popped up, and I was like, I've been putting it off. I said, what the hell? Let me
You know
give
what?
it a shot.
It's funny that we're talking about that show because that show reminds me almost on the opposite side of the fence, but similar kind of like strategy. What I'm watching right now, and I'm almost done with. I'll be done with tomorrow. The Mayor of Kingstown. Are you watching that?
I have not watched that.
3rd or 4th season?
I haven't seen
any
the
of it.
new season.
Oh, it's unreal. Like what this town allows to happen. Like you want to talk about Dexter? It's one guy killing a bunch of people. You got like endless amounts of gangs in this one town, and I guess Boston. I guess Kingstown is Boston, right?
No, Ohio, I think.
Ohio? No, I don't think it's Ohio. Whatever, it doesn't matter. Wherever the fuck it is. Like, you got the prisoners in prison controlling the outside world. You got the perps on the outside world controlling what's going on in the prison. You got Jeremy Renner, who's the mayor of Kingstown. Is the whole point of the thing. He's like in between both sides and the cops. The cops want to kill both. He's telling them to lay off. They just want to go out there be like 100 Punishers and just murder everybody. And it's just such a wild season. Like he's putting out fires left and right. And I'm like, what is where's the mayor? Like where's every cop and correctional officer is corrupt.
So basically, it's another version of Top Boy, where they're just like pure mayhem, and there's no cops ever around.
No, the cops are always around. They're part of the mayhem. That's the only difference. One side, the Crips will go against not the Bloods, but the Aryan Nation in the jails and whoever's out there, and then do a drive-by, and it's oh, well, we got to bring this guy in, or this guy's gonna kill these guys. It's well, we should kill these guys. They just tried doing this to us, and they're all right, yeah, let's do that. And he's no, don't do that. You guys are cops. Don't just go out there. You're gonna make it worse. He's an eye for an eye, Mikey. An eye for an eye. And I'm what the F is going on here? You know what I mean? I'm everyone's corrupt, and they got the corrections officers getting involved. They're half corrupt. Some of them are with the perps. Some of them aren't. Some of them are with the mayor of Kingstown. And I'm this third season, or third or fourth, I don't even remember. It's so freaking wild. I'm I just can't wait to see how it ends. And it's gonna leave me on the hook for another year. Yeah, that's really all I'm watching. What do you guys think I should watch next? I got a list that's on my phone. I can't remember, but I gotta watch Umbrella Academy. There's another show. Oh, Snowpiercer's coming back. I think that's the 4th season and it's the final season. But that's week to week, so I think I'm gonna wait on that. Then I got your show that's forever long. It'll take me a few months to do. Was it Gomorrah?
That's a good show.
Yeah.
I just don't know that you're gonna get into that because of the subtitles.
Yeah, oh yeah, that could be an issue.
I mean,
you can watch it dubbed, I guess, right?
you could. Yeah, I hate that.
Me too.
I don't like that either, to be fair.
Yeah.
There's
If I were you, I would start with Umbrella Academy because it's only 4
Good.
seasons. The 4th season is only 6 episodes.
Oh no, I've seen all the seasons already. I'm just this season.
So
Yeah.
then do that.
Yeah.
It's only 6 episodes.
There's another show though that I had on deck. I can't remember what it is. I did The Boys. Snowpiercer's coming out, so not that yet. I'm missing something. Oh, Masters of Air I wanted to see too.
Oh right, the Apple one.
I watched that. It was okay. It wasn't anything.
Oh, and Presumed
I only
Innocent.
saw the first couple.
Presumed Innocent.
Oh, yeah,
Watch
that's
that.
good.
That
That's
is good.
No, but what order am I going in? Is what I'm asking.
I would do Umbrella Academy and Presumed Innocent.
There you go.
Okay, and not Masters of Air. No,
I mean, it was good. If you're into history,
I like some history stuff.
maybe
There was
more
one.
so, but it wasn't.
Anything to write home about?
Nah.
All right. Because the whatchamacallit, the trailer looked kind of good, but I guess most trailers do.
Yeah, I mean, it was okay. It was entertaining, but it wasn't like.
So I got news, guys. I wanted to let you know. My current girlfriend, Sydney Sweeney,
Yeah.
she's going to be. Rumor has it she was offered the role of Black Cat in Spider-Man 4.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
I just actually watched a movie that she was in. I guess it's a new movie.
Yeah, the Madam Web.
No,
Oh.
no.
Was it a
Is
romance?
it a horror movie?
A horror movie
Which
Yeah.
one was that?
I
where
don't-
she plays a nun.
Oh, okay. What was that on?
I don't know.
Oh, right. That's right.
But it was
No good.
no.
Well, they can't all be winners. She's got to get paid too,
Yeah, I mean, it was.
She's got to have a job.
It was okay, but it was like just the whole premise of the movie was like
And
ridiculous.
supposedly there's another rumor, real quick, that Jeremy Renner and Jamie Foxx, of all people, there's going to be a Spawn reboot.
I think I have been hearing about a Spawn reboot.
I mean, I would assume Jamie Foxx would be Spawn,
Yeah. Right.
unless they do some kind of woke stuff and they make Jeremy Renner Spawn for whatever reason. But I'm kind of curious to see what would Jeremy Renner's part be in that movie.
Oh, it's on Hulu.
What's
It's
on
called
Hulu?
Immaculate.
Immaculate?
Yeah,
That's a horror movie? It's all-
Yeah, they categorize it as a horror movie.
Right. All right, fair enough. And also, you know, I think this weekend I'm going to see Alien Romulus.
Nice.
I heard great things. It was number
Looks
one in the
good.
box
trailer,
office.
The trailer looks good.
Yeah, the trailer's crazy looking. And I heard that's a horror movie.
I would presume that
Yeah, I mean, but like, I guess those Alien movies, like
we're all categorized as horror.
that, or some of them maybe action. I don't know, but
Thriller, suspense.
yeah, suspense, thriller, action. But yeah, whatever. I gotta go check it out.
Sci-fi horror.
My friend raved about it. Said it was like awesome, and supposedly it takes place between Alien and Aliens. So in between those two.
Oh, really?
And the alien that's in this movie was the alien from the first movie.
Oh, yeah.
So that's kind of cool. Like, I mean, you probably can't tell the difference, but you know, whatever, right? And they said it's good. It's a really good movie. Like, it almost starts off as like the first Aliens movie. Like, it builds everything up. It gets you like the character, and then all hell breaks loose, and you're like, oh my god, you know, people are dying left and right, getting eaten and whatnot.
I saw they were doing some special popcorn.
Oh, did they? I missed it. They probably sold out already. Just like when I went to Deadpool Wolverine, I asked for one of them. Like, you ever sold out yesterday? I'm like, it's day 2 of the movie, guy. Like, you don't. What are you like? The baseball parks? You only make 18,000, and that's it. Like, what's going on here? Now you probably go on internet on like eBay, and they're like $200 for a popcorn thing. I mean, they were pretty cool though. To be fair.
Yeah, I haven't tried to watch it yet on the stick because it's still a can-out version.
So
Are these games played in
yeah.
Cooperstown?
No, Pennsylvania.
Oh, okay.
Cooperstown is a different tournament, I think.
Okay.
Yeah. What else was I gonna say? I had a thought. What are you gonna do?
No, Sigourney Weaver's not in
No, I don't think so. I wasn't told. But they did have Easter eggs for a bunch of different alien movies in that movie. So I'm stoked to see that. I'm gonna try and go see that Saturday. I also heard the Twisters movie was good too. But
Oh, really?
that's what I was gonna tell you. I have a website my sister gave me that you could get every movie on that website, and then you could just throw it onto your TV. I do it almost every night now, like religiously. But when I go to bed, and I know call me a loser, like Evan Roberts, but I throw Deadpool Wolverine on before I go to sleep, and I just fall asleep to it. But like I searched for other movies, and there's other old movies, new movies on there, and it's perfect quality. I don't know where they get it from. Like, I don't know if they go like at a really early or late episode, but it looks legit, like perfect. So I'll send you the link to it, and maybe you can see some of those movies on there, and you can just cast them onto the TV. All right. Well, with that being said, that's all I got for this week, folks. So, Wander, the floor is yours.
All right, so we got 3 choices as usual. First up, Quelle Chris with Being You is Great. I wish I could be you more often. Next up, Roman Streets with Kiss the Ring. And third, Aphex Twin, Ambient Works 85 to 92. Those are the 3 picks for this week.
All right, there we go. And that about do it for episode 69. And
wrap.
that's it. We're wrapping it up. We'll see you guys next week, maybe a day earlier, because I'll be doing a lot of fantasy football next week, and hopefully starting my journey to a league championship again. Everyone, have a good rest of your week. And that's about it.
Take care.
See ya.
Later, folks.